everybody. Welcome to the Dental Diaries podcast. This is Jessica Emery, and it's been a long time since I have done an episode on my own. So it's kind of a check-in. It's been forever since I've hopped on here and not been talking to a guest. I've been loving talking to all of the amazing women that I have on this podcast. But we've been back since COVID, so I think 8 weeks now, and the hustle has been real. It has been crazy busy, which I'm so incredibly grateful for. You know, when we were in COVID, I was wondering, well, the quarantine time anyway, I was wondering if people would be coming in after that because we're a fee-for-service practice. We collect 100% up front. And for whatever reason, I felt like since we weren't working or making any money, and because Starbucks were closed and everything was closed, I just thought the world was officially closed and that people didn't have any cash flow coming in. But I was wrong. I learned very quickly when we came back here and we were busy out of the gate that many, almost all, were working. They were just working from home in a different environment. So that's awesome. What it also led to was a lot of cosmetic cases, which was so great. Because I think just having that downtime and sitting in their houses, like they were thinking about all the things that would really make them happy. And sometimes people's smiles don't make them happy. So many decided to change them. So we had several veneer cases when we got back, which was awesome. I mean, that is absolutely what I love to do is cosmetic dentistry. And it's been fun. So it's been great. My team has been absolutely amazing. I have the most incredible team. I, again, am so grateful for that. So everybody is back. We have been hustling. And with that being said, totally back to the grind. I mean, I feel like the quarantine time was years ago. I don't even really remember it because it's amazing with habits. You just get right back to it, I mean, during the downtime, I definitely loved some things. I loved waking up and going down to the water and enjoying a nice walk or run and coming back and making a cup of coffee and actually tasting it, enjoying the kids for a little bit before I would go to soiree. And it was just so good. Now I am up at beyond the crack of dawn and in the car and out of the house before my kids wake up with a coffee in hand, drinking it in the car typically. And it's just complete insanity. It's like being right back on the hamster wheel. It's like an elastic band, like boom, like right back at it. And it's been so busy because what I built during the quarantine time, all of the time I spent at Dental Soiree, building additional things, those things are all still happening. And now, after I see patients, I have to go to work around work, essentially. So just trying to figure all of that out as I go. I've always been a multitasker, and I love to accomplish things and get things done. So it's doable, but I definitely loved doing the one thing and putting 100 into it. That was absolutely awesome. So I thought today I would talk to you guys about vision and just the universe and how things can kind of come to fruition. I am a huge believer in all of this stuff. So I thought I would share a story about when I moved here. Let's go back, I think it was about 15 years now. And my mom, many of you know, my mom has Alzheimer's now. She had early set Alzheimer's. She was fine then, believe it or not, but it's progressed pretty quickly. She and myself came out to visit my sister, Hillary, that had just moved out here to Chicago. And she had been moving, just had moved in. She was living in Atlanta, moved up here. I think it was like a couple weekends later. My mom and I came out to visit. And I just absolutely fell in love with it here. I loved everything about it. It was October, so it was cold. It wasn't like it was warm and green or anything like that, actually. It was a freezing windy, cold weekend. And I don't know what it was. I just kind of felt it. I felt like that was the time for me to make a change in my life. And I decided I was going to move here. So that weekend. So I told my mom, I'd been practicing dentistry with her, and my mom was like, yes, I think you should do it. My one regret is not living in a different, place. And at the time I was practicing with my mom, and I was commuting from Boston to Worcester, which is like a suburb, kind of 40 minutes or so outside of the city. So she said, go. And before I knew it, I was essentially packing my bags. Oh, wait, let me go back. So that's right. That weekend, my mom and I, before we went to O'Hare to fly home, my mom took me to the RL. That's Ralph Lauren has a beautiful restaurant downstairs where there is a big fireplace and like big leather seats. So leave it to my mom. She got us 2 leather seats. She got a bottle of champagne. And so it was delivered, came to us. It was just, I remember it sitting in the bucket between us. And she wanted to do a toast to me deciding that I was going to move to Chicago. So that was amazing. We're talking about, moving and the whole nine. And all of a sudden, I hear somebody say behind me, excuse me, did I ever hear you're a dentist? And so I turn around and I said, yes, I am. Now we're talking the time was probably 3:00 in the afternoon. It was a random time. And so this woman pipes in and she said, oh, I'm a dentist too. And so we start talking. She was having a late lunch with her hygienist. And she said, you have to move here. You will absolutely love it. And so she gave me her card and she said, definitely connect when you get here. And I was like, this is awesome. Oh my gosh, that's a sign, right? I mean, I had said to my mom, that's a complete sign. I mean, how crazy is that you're in this random restaurant in the city, you make this decision and a dentist pops up and just reconfirms it. I mean, amazing. So basically I leave to come home. I was like, that's right. I need to get my license, figure out all of the things and start the process to move. So however many weeks later it was that I moved out here, I didn't have a practice, right, to practice dentistry in. So I decided I was going to temp for a little bit just to figure out where I wanted to be in Chicago. And I ended up in a practice, which was near where I was living at the time, where I had an apartment in Lincoln Park. And the dentist there decided after, I don't know, maybe a week or two or whatever it was that I was working there, he said, let's go to dinner and let's talk about, things. So we went to dinner and he said, okay, so tell me your story again. Because during this dinner, actually, he had wanted to invite me into their practice as an associate because they had an extra room and they loved how things were working out. And so we sat down and, he said, so what's your backstory? And I told him, because it was so fresh at the time, how I came out here, how I met that dentist, of course, the signs, it was meant to be. And I just moved here. So he said, well, do you mind me asking who that is? And so I said her name and he said, you're never going to believe this is crazy. That was the last associate I had here 2 years ago in that dental practice. How crazy is that? So I got put, like I said, through a temp agency into this practice near my place. That the last associate in that dental practice was the one that I met at the RL Club when I first came out for that weekend when I decided to move here. Come on. So there are a billion, quadrillion dentists out here. So that was amazing. And then also I was basically walking to that office to work. And I popped into Urban Outfitters. That was a store. Well, many of you know what store that is. I think they're still around. I used to love to send care packages. Now I've become so busy, I don't do them nearly as much anymore, but I need to. I love care packages. And I was sending someone a birthday care package. And so at Urban Outfitters, they have some cute, books and things, things you could throw into a care package for someone. So I pop in and random time of the day, I look up at the wall and I see this coat, a soccer jacket. It was white and it had a red and black cuffs. And it had embroidered on it a soccer player like a black soccer player. And then above it, embroidered, it said Sutton, Sutton dash Mass, or comma, Mass, MA. And I was like, wait a minute. Am I still here in Chicago? Because this is getting crazier by the minute, because I grew up in the town called Sutton, Mass. And I played soccer from kindergarten through college. I was the captain of my college team. I mean, I loved soccer. And that coat looked like the soccer coats that I used to wear when I was younger. 1, 2, I'm in the middle of Chicago. What the heck is a coat doing with Sutton, Mass? It's the tiniest little town. I mean, it's like the size of a salt or sand speck, like the United States. I mean, how is that even possible, right? So once again, I took that as a sign that I was supposed to be there, because what was the likelihood? Like, I could have bypassed, Urban Outfitters, never gone in, never seen that coat. I mean, of course I had to buy the coat, right? So I bought it. Fast forward again, a couple weeks, my parents come out, I put the coat on and walked out, and they're like, why are you wearing your old soccer coat? I said, this isn't like my soccer coat. This is a coat I bought here when I moved here. I mean, total sign. And I actually saved it. And so 15 years later, I have it still. And it's amazing because now I have kids and it probably fits them, although they probably wouldn't want to wear it. But I saved it because it meant so much to me, that, like I said, I was supposed to be here. So just, those are some incredible things from when I first moved here. But if we go even further back, I don't know how many of you have vision boards, but I've always been a big believer in them. And if I'm not making a vision board, or I haven't made one, what I used to do is, kind of be going through a magazine, and I would see things and, envision them if I really wanted them. And in doing so, I can say actually everything has come off my vision boards over the years. But one in particular, this is a story I love to tell, is years prior to meeting Andrew, of course, when you're single, you dream someday of the person you're going to meet and the ring you're going to have. So I was looking at InStyle magazine and found this ring that I loved. And it didn't say where it was from, but it looked like an estate piece, like an antique of sorts, super unique, like lots of pavé. And anyway, I ripped it out. It was like A to Z in the InStyle, and like Ask with Sarah Jessica Parker. I think it was everything that was hot that year, like top 100 things, or I don't know what it was. But anyway, P was platinum. So next to P in the definition of platinum was this ring, and I tore it out. And I was like, gosh, someday when I meet someone, I would love like that ring. It probably has this beautiful love story and all of that. Rip it out, fold it up, put it in my journal. I also have written in journals since I was 10, actually 7, I think, or 8 was my first entry. 9, 10, I definitely started writing a lot more. I actually stumbled on these recently and opened them up because I was like, oh, maybe my kids can read these. And then I quickly closed it and said, no, I think we're going to have to wait. But anyway, I had kept it in my journal, and at home that was when I was living in Worcester. I was practicing for my mom. So I had it in a journal, and my journals were all archived up in the attic. So they were up in the attic, kind of like in a big lockbox or whatever. And, I just always thought of that ring. So now I'm in Chicago. I meet Andrew. I dated a lot when I got here. And then I met Andrew. And I know it's so cliche. Many of you know this, but when you know, you know. And I went out on a date with Andrew, and it just never ended. And so we ended up getting engaged and married under a year. But when he proposed to me, he actually proposed in Boston. It was Christmas Eve. We went into the city. We went down Newbury Street, and he proposed to me in Boston Garden with the same ring that was folded up from the magazine tear out from years earlier, that was actually in my attic at home. So bizarro. Like, it's not, he knew nothing about it. we had never discussed it. And his story is he went to Tiffany & Co. to learn all of the, A, B's, and C's on wedding rings and diamonds. And he walked into Tiffany, never like thinking in 1,000 billion years he would ever buy there. But he walked in, looked down in the one counter, saw this ring, and he was just like, that's her ring. Only looked at one. He was like, that's her ring. So the ring, so we know for a fact that the ring is in fact that Tiffany ring. It's called the Legacy. And he proposed with this ring. Now I wish this is a podcast, so I can't show it to you. But if you saw how ornate the ring is, it's crazy. But it shows you the power of putting things out there to the universe and like really feeling them and bring them forward. So what was really cool, like I said, because he proposed, I was like, this is, oh my gosh, like I can't even believe this. We were at home, not in Chicago. We were actually at home. So I was able to go up in the attic, pull out my old journal, look at the picture. It was in fact the same ring. And then of course, Tiffany, confirmed it too. And they were like, yeah, they pulled that's the Legacy and all of that. So that is one story of so many that have happened to me over time. And I find it fascinating. I absolutely love it. And during COVID, so fast forward to now, there have been a lot of things that have happened that are super, super serendipitous. I can't get into them. It's going to have to wait for another podcast episode, but there are a lot of amazing things happening right now that are really, like I said, kind of just serendipitous, and all these things are coming into fruition, and I cannot wait to share them with you, but I cannot do that now. So you'll have to wait for it. But with that being said, I want to encourage you all to take a moment and journal, write things down. There is something definitely powerful to visualization. One, I don't know, I guess whether it's like in dreams or just really visualizing it. I'm sure I don't meditate. I should, but people that do meditation, but definitely when you see something like a picture of something, to tear it out and put it in front of you, because I can guarantee you that it will eventually fall in. It always has. So many things. Oh my gosh. Anyone that knows me knows all of the things. There are way too many to even begin to get into. I could be here for hours telling you all the things, but I want to encourage you to do that. If you haven't made a vision board, make a vision board. They're so much fun. I am such a huge believer. My team here at Sugar Fix actually had each one of them, we had a vision board making day, and they each have their vision board in front of them on their desks at all times. All of my team members have their own desk here in the office because we have admin days here where they're able to work. So yeah, it's great. And it's just so good. I just want to encourage you all to do it. So anyway, I am here at White Hot. Lots of things. I'm working on lots of things. I have a whitening line coming out for White Hot, and I have an online subscription for that. So I'm launching that, which is going to be really exciting. It's a monthly subscription, and I'm working on that. Dental Girl Gang, if you are not following, please do, but that is amazing. And there are big things in the pipeline coming for that we're working on, which is so good. So good. That's always been a dream of mine. And let me tell you something too. All of these things, Girl Gang, White Hot, I trademarked that name in 2012. I wrote it down. I still have my notes on it. And yes, it's many moons later, but here it is. Like, it's established. I'm actually sitting in it right now. It's, things, like I said, some things happen right away, some things happen years later, but they will all happen when you continuously think about them and you feel them. So, let's see, Sugar Fix is still good. What else do we have? Dental Soiree is so good. I launched my own website, Dr. Jessica Emery, and I have started a boutique practice mentorship program that I'm really excited about with some amazing women that is going to be so good. I actually got asked by somebody during the downtime, and I kind of never forget this because I was outside sitting on our back patio on the cushions. It was like this gorgeous day. And she asked me to do it, and then asked if I would work with her one-on-one. And of course, like having the time, I was like, I don't know, my heart, again, right? Listen to your gut. My heart just kind of pulled me in. I absolutely adore her. But what I realized is that I have so much to give. Building a practice into what I have working, I think it was like 167 days and 3 days a week, and where this practice is and everything else. I know the things, and if I can help somebody else get there and achieve their dreams and goals, I would love to hold their hand and do that. So it's been so exciting to do treatment planning and just to see things. What I realized too is that in cosmetic dentistry, like I've kind of hit my threshold of learning because I've done all of the CEs, everywhere for all the things. And I do real high level cosmetic treatment, and there's like nowhere to go from there. I do it well. I love my cases, but to be able to teach it is really fun. It's really, really fun. So people coming out of dental school, like dentists that have new practices, it's like they can catapult forward by having someone hold their hand that can be there in their pocket to help them see things that they don't see. And so we started with treatment plans and just helping her see all of the things and like lock and load treatment, deal with objections. And now we've actually moved into, team training and experience. And then we're stepping into marketing and social. And it's just been so rewarding. I'm absolutely loving it. So this Dental Fluence is definitely going to be an extension of my heart. And I'm super, super, super excited to step into this. So I've got that too. Lots of balls in the air, as always. But it's summer here in Chicago. Fortunately, the weather is nice. Everybody's still wearing masks. The world is still not there yet. Unfortunately, I think we're all just waiting for the day where we can go back to normal. And this is the new normal. I don't know when, our old normal will be, if ever. I do believe we'll get there for sure. But the mask wearing outside in public all the time is definitely hard and draining. And there are still people that are obviously like scared to go out, which is a bummer. And then kids are having the hardest time, right? For those of us that have kids and they're just literally living in an iPad or computer screen all day long. That's where they're playing with their friends on roadblocks and stuff like that. So not ideal. They should be out running. They should be, enjoying their friends outside. But right now we can't do that. So I have had to learn as a complete perfectionist and everything to let a lot go. So that's actually been good. And I'm grateful for that too. But I don't know. We'll see where it all goes. So anyway, thanks for listening today. The biggest takeaway today is to definitely step in. Now's the time to think about what you want out of life. If you spent time during COVID dreaming, listen to your dreams. Listen to your dreams. I had a real prominent dream that came to me during COVID vividly. And I didn't dream it once, I dreamed it twice. And then something even crazier happened, and then something even crazier happened after that. So stay tuned. I will share with you when I'm able. So keep dreaming, put your visions down on paper, journal, and just stay positive because it's always good out there. Thanks.